This is Cayo Perico, the epicenter of illegal trade between South America and the United States. Yet, while being one of the most interesting POIs in the whole GTA universe, people know very little about this place. Where even is this tropical party island located? And how is this island connected to the Second World War action between Germany and the Soviet Union? Well, luckily for these very exciting topics and many more, we finally have the answers in this documentary. And as always, for the whole story, we are going to start from the very beginning. Cayo Perico is a relatively small island in the tropical Caribbean Sea, just off the coast of Colombia. This makes the island very similar to other tropical islands like Aruba or the Curacao. The name Cayo Perico comes from Spanish, but for the sake of YouTube, I will not translate it directly, so let's just call it the White Flower Cay in English. While the island's name has the name Cay in it, then it is geographically speaking not a cay but rather a high island. I know all of you GTA fans never listened to the teacher in your geography class, so now is a perfect time to make a difference between these two. A cay is an island with steady and not too steep beaches, while a high island is an island with a shore consisting mostly of steep cliffs. While the Cayo Perico island has some beaches, then most of the shore is covered with high unclimbable cliffs. But anyways, although nowadays we know the island to be a white flower paradise, then the island has actually a very long and rich history before that. The first signs of human activity on the island are actually from the 16th century. It is confirmed by the fact that in the middle of an island there is a 500-year-old Spanish soldier armor just lying around on the ground. It also means that once upon a time the island was a part of one of the biggest empires ever in the history of the world, aka the Spanish Empire. But with the decline of the empire, the Spanish also left the island alongside its much bigger land on the American continent. From the 19th century, the island started belonging to the country of Colombia, and for a very long time since then, the island was largely uninhabited, firstly because of its small size, and secondly because of its lack of resources compared to the larger islands. This was the case until the year 1964, when the Colombian conflict between the governmental Colombian military and the Colombian Revolutionary Armed Forces, aka the FARC, started. It was an internal war in Colombia that is somewhat still going on to this day, although not as actively anymore. Because of Cayo Perico's distance and separation from mainland Colombia, the Colombian military decided to build one of their military landing grounds on the island for their air force. The concrete landing strip alongside the control tower was completed in 1965. But already a few years later, the conflict calmed down and the airbase was no longer needed by the army. And so in the 1990s, the Colombian government finally decided to put the island on sale to get some money for their struggling economy. And the island was bought by none other than El Rubio himself. But let's go back in time a little bit. Who even is this El Rubio guy? And where did he get the money to buy an island? Well, this guy might just have one of the most interesting backstories of any character in the GTA universe. El Rubio's real name is actually Juan Strickler, before that Johann Strickler. Now, you might think that this doesn't sound like a Spanish name at all, and you would be correct. El Rubio is actually German. His grandfather was actually fighting in the German army during the Second World War for the funny mustache guy who we will yet again this time not mention in the video, but you get the idea. El Rubio's grandfather was a commander in the Wehrmacht and fought on the Eastern Front against the Soviet Union. But when in 1945 Germany's capital Berlin was about to fall, then he, like many other high-ranking German officers, escaped to South America, and to Argentina to be exact. But later in the early 1960s decided to relocate to Colombia to further hide his identity from the IAA, who was at the time actively searching for the hiding German officers in Argentina. The origin story is also confirmed by El Rubio himself in one of the Cayo Perico heist cutscenes, where he claims his Opa, aka his grandfather, was also German and lived in Berlin.
Kidding me? No, thank you, huh?
My Opa
was German. Must be why I love the techno.
Ah, you got some cool stuff planned. Really beach party vibes.
Yeah, should be sexy.
Sexy? Ah, wait till you guys see the beach. I knew I was gonna love them, huh? Hey, you guys gotta come back, huh? I will come see you in Berlin, only I can't really travel right now, huh?
There are also other hints to El Rubio's ancestors being in the Wehrmacht. Our Russian submarine mechanic Pavel, who we will get to in a bit, mentioned in one of the lookout missions where El Rubio fed one of its workers Gustavo to a panther that in the Soviet Union there was a saying, never trust a German with a panther.
Okay, this must be inside the compound.
Gustavo, jefe.
Looks like Mr. Rubio. And Gustavo. He was at the plane.
You keep doing that, huh? I'm sorry.
Oh, is that a panther in there?
Fucking embarrassed.
You know, there is old Russian proverb. Do not trust German with panther.
No. Get it. No. No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, shit.
No.
Oh, no. This will sting.
Show him what a big fucking man you are.
Oh! No, no! Oh, he's going to...
He is hungry, huh?
Oh, you see? This is a lesson to us all, I think. If our friend had known the Russian proverb, he would not be cat food now, yes?
This is also a hint to the Second World War and the Panther tanks that the Germans were using to invade the Soviet Union. But let's come back to the rise of El Rubio and his island. Growing up in Medellin, Colombia, El Rubio got connections with many cartels operating there. And in the 1980s, El Rubio also started with his own cartel business and quickly found success in his home market of Colombia and the neighboring country of Panama. It was in the 1990s though that El Rubio decided to finally take his business to another level. He decided that to be the real king of the white flower supply business, he needs to start supplying the markets of the United States and its biggest cities of Liberty City, Los Santos and Vice City. For the newly thought idea, the Cayo Perico island was bought for serving as the headquarters of the biggest cartel in the world. On the south side of the island, El Rubio built his own private complex with all amenities included. Alongside many other exclusive and expensive things, El Rubio has a pet panther which he is seen to use as a killing machine for his enemies. The island already had two ports from the 1960s, one main port on the western side of the island and another one on the northeastern side. So the island can be accessed via either a boat or an airplane, and all landing sites are heavily guarded by El Rubio's own private military. While the island itself technically belongs to Colombia, then it seems that El Rubio has a deal with the government that they will not come to enforce their laws on the island, making the island his very own playground. By the 2000s, El Rubio's plan on conquering the US flower markets was finalized. By that time, El Rubio controlled 80% of the flour coming into the US from Latin America. Along other places, El Rubio supplied organizations like the Madrazo cartel, the Ballas and the Vagos gangs, the Lost MC and the Streets of Little Soul. And the relationship with the Mexican Madrazo cartel is exactly what led to the actions with our online character on the island in late 2020. El Rubio had supplied the Madrazo cartel for 17 years in 2020, but things got sour between these two during the same year. Through El Rubio's unknown sources, he gained intel on the Madrazo family's hidden secrets that were to that point also hidden from the public eye. Alongside other things was a picture with Madrazo's wife making love to none other than Trevor Phillips. And El Rubio had pressured the Madrazos that either they will renegotiate their prices on the flour sent to the US or he will leak the files to the public. To stop the leakage of the pictures to the public, Martin Madrazo's son, often called Mini Madrazo, hired our online character alongside a Russian submarine technician and captain to conduct missions to go and steal the files from the Cayo Perico island.
I've also got a big fucking problem right now. Oh, not her. This guy. One Strickler. They call him El Rubio, the blonde Colombian, one of our main suppliers. But somehow, this fucker's managed to get hold of like decades worth of intel on my family. I mean, every business cuts corners, right? But you take some of that shit out of context and the optics can look bad. Anyway, he's threatening to leak it all to the DEA if we don't renegotiate our prices. Basically, he's trying to play me for a fucking fool. Mom, just chill.
I don't know what I'll do if anything happens to him.
Best in the
Come on,
house.
Jackie.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Keep it coming, baby. Six-figure check, everyone. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
So, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna let that piece of shit bring down my family, make me look weak in front of my father. I need to get my hands on those files by any means necessary. So, I'm just gonna lay it all out there for you. Strickler's got this private island off the Caribbean coast of Colombia, grows a bunch of coke and weed down there, has got himself some big compound, lots of guards, high-tech security, the whole works. I need someone to rob it.
And so, in partnership with Pavel, our online character started making plans to go to the tropical island. Pavel, being an experienced submarine captain or capitan and also familiar with both the Madrazo and El Rubio's cartel, was leading the operation from his Kosatka submarine, while our online character with the associates did all the dirty work on the island. The main reason for this was Pavel's fear of the Los Santos monster that was, according to him, lurking around the area of the island. Our online character was first invited to the island with our friend English Dave, a crazy lunatic who, out of all things, loved to party. But why would a party be happening on an island, which is also the headquarters for the biggest cartel in the world? Well, the answer is quite simple. El Rubio didn't want the attention of big US government agencies like, for example, the IAA or even the FIB on the island. And for that reason, he often described his island to be a party island, where alongside other artists, he invited musicians like Dr. Dre and Kanye Music from Berlin. Other than being a party island, El Rubio described his island to be used as a solar power plant, hence why he had a solar panel farm on the island. Basically, he just needed a mask to hide the real activities of the island under. Anyway, in December of 2020, our online character with English Dave arrived on the tropical island. When at first we were also at the party, then our online character sneaked out of the party area on the beach to go and look for the mansion where the files of the Madrazo family were held. In doing so, Pavel and the online character discovered that they could, alongside the files, steal other expensive items like diamonds, paintings and artifacts to get even more financial resources from the invasion. It also looks like that we weren't the first one to rob El Rubio's island. Skeletons of earlier intruders were seen all over the island, both inside the rainforests in cages as well as under the sea in cars. The robbery our online character and Pavel conducted was successful, and after the first robbery, our online character handed the stolen files over to Mini Madrazo. After Mini Madrazo saw the pictures of his mom and Trevor, he decided to burn them in a fire never to be found again. But the story of the island didn't end here. Both Pavel and our online character came to the conclusion that the Cayo Perico island was worth to go steal from again, since El Rubio held very valuable items there that, for the surprise of all of us, weren't under that strong of a surveillance. And so, after the 2020 file recovery mission, our online character has been to the island many times to go and steal new and valuable items from El Rubio. In 2023, during the actions of the Los Santos Angels, one of Charlie Reed's friends, Pernell Moss, said that he is still living from the money he got from the Cayo Perico robberies during the last few years. Pernell Moss was the pilot who drove us to the island during some of the robberies. Due to the fact that El Rubio is also supplying the streets of Vice City, it is possible to see him also conducting business there in a year where most of the action will move away from Los Santos over to the area of Vice City. But until that, we just have to wait and see. But anyways, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to also check out my other documentaries about the GTA universe. Thank you for watching and see you guys in the next video.